My name's Evelyn.
My name is Candy.
And my name's Sophia. And we're going to be talking about the Scott Peterson case. Let's get into it.
Scott Peterson was a 32-year-old man from San Francisco, California, who was married to Lacey Rocha with an expecting baby boy named Connor. They met in 1994 while attending college at California Polytechnic State University, and married 2 years later. Lacey and Scott were married for
5 years
and 4 months. They lived in Modesto, California. On December 24, 2002, Scott said he came home from a fishing trip finding just the dog on a leash, but no Lacey to be found.
Later that same evening,
Lacey's stepfather reported her missing. On April 13, 2003, Connor's small fetus body was found by people walking in San Francisco Bay Park. The remains of Lacey were found just
the next day,
on April 14th, washed ashore a mile from where Connor's body was found. Due to the circumstantial evidence, they arrested Scott on April 18, 2003.
Later, detectives found out less than a week later he had been having an affair with Amber Frey for more than a month. Recorded phone calls given to the police by her were submitted and later evaluated that he had been lying about his travels and where he was. And in those phone calls, while he mentioned that he had been in Paris when he was really in Modesto on the search for Lacey.
eventually,
Scott told her that he had lied and that he'd been traveling in the wrong place. Those recorded calls would later become part of the case against Peterson. On April 18, 2003, authorities caught up with Scott Peterson at a golf course in San Diego and arrested him there. Authorities found a wad of cash, his brother's ID card, and multiple cell phones inside the vehicle.
3 days later,
Scott Peterson pleaded not guilty on the 2 accounts of murder. On August 10, 2004, in the trial in what many consider a major turning point, Amber Frey took the first stand. She told the jury about her relationship with Scott Peterson, a secretly married man, yet again lying to her about being single, and all the lies he told her about his life, where he was, and what he did. This painted a picture of a very dishonest man who could tell falsehoods with ease, hurting his credibility in his case.
So March of 2021, CBS News reporters interviewed neighbors, and the witnesses claimed they saw Lacey walking through the neighborhood near their house after the time Scott said he left, which would prove that he was gone when the suggested crime happened. Now, the burglar theory is the supposed burglary could have happened across the street, and when
Contradicting the burglary theory, retired detective John Bueller says there are no witnesses who saw Lacey alive that morning. He says there were other young women in that neighborhood who were pregnant at the time and may have looked similar to Lacey, and that it would be really easy for someone to mistakenly see those as Lacey walking through the neighborhood.
In April of 2025, the LA Innocence Project had a bombshell in the case. They said that Mr. Peterson's case relied on unreliable scientific evidence to convict him. They argued that the prosecution's timeline and the fatality development evidence were based on a faulty science, and that the new expert analysis shows that the bodies of Lacey and Connor could not have been placed in the water when the prosecution claimed.
Although the analysis at that time could have been incomplete, his behavior like cheating, supplies in his car, leaving his pregnant wife alone, pathologically lying, and lack of concern towards her during the investigation gives a stronger conviction to him being guilty.
Scott Peterson was sentenced to death in April of 2003.
later,
2020, sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. First-degree murder and second-degree murder for the unborn son. December 8, 2021, Scott Peterson was resentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the deaths of his wife and unborn child. The Los Angeles Innocence Project took upon Peterson's fight for a new trial. Since then, California judge has granted his defense team access to previously undisclosed evidence, as well as permission to do additional DNA testing due to new technology.
And pleaded her case. Wait, scratch that. Okay, redo. Amber Heard took the stand in what...
Oh, this is so bad.
Go.
Okay. Don't get me in it. We're good.
Okay.
Nothing speech class.
It's right down there.
Ready? 2024, the Innocence Project
Oh,
has...
girl, I got this.
Okay.
I'm not ready yet. Evidence. Redo.
Concern towards her during the investigation.
Just. How the hell did you say
Oh!